So what branch of the service were you in?
Where's my hat? But anyhow, I was in the
Right there.
Army. There it is. I was in the U.S. Army Infantry. U.S. Army Infantry.
Okay,
And
nice,
that's the hat.
very nice. So how many years were you in?
2.5 years.
2.5?
And if, am I being recorded now?
Yep.
Okay, in my Army jacket, which is this one, for every,
That's beautiful.
excuse me, okay, for every 6 months of World War II service, you get a bar. So there's 2.5. So I was overseas for 2.5 years, starting with D-Day, June 6, 1944. I can't remember my kid's birthday, but I remember that date. And, from June 6th, D-Day, 1944, up through and including France, Belgium, Germany, Holland, England,
Wow.
and what else? And then the biggest battle was the Battle of the Bulge, where I got captured at the Battle of the Bulge.
So what prompted you to enlist in the first place?
Well, I enlisted, and my mother pulled me out of the draft because she said, "You're not going to the army because you're my only son." But then I got called 4 months later, officially from the draft. So I
Oh.
went in. So I went in August of '43, all the way till the end of 45,
Wow.
46.
So you said you were captured. For how long did that
That
go
was
on?
about, yeah, in my report, I was there about, maybe a year, a day and a half.
Oh,
And
okay.
there's a story behind that one, if you want me to tell that one, Alex. What it was is, there was during the war, the war made a lot of craters, holes, craters. And during the Battle of the Bulge, there were 9 of us, squad, and there was 7 German soldiers that captured us. So they shoved us into this crater, which was bombing by the Air Force, the Allies. But the German forced us into this crater, and with their guns and bayonets, they were jamming us to push it down into the hole, into the crater. Well, now, there were 9 of us and 7 of them. One of our 9 guys was of German descent. For example, if you talked Italian, I would understand you. He heard the German soldiers around this crater say, "Listen, when it gets a little lighter out, we'll take them back to the apple orchard and get rid of them there." At that time of the war, if you could recall your dates, that was the time that the German Hitler regime was falling apart. So that was the beginning of the end of the war for Germany. So we were in this crater, and in this crater, one of our 9 GIs was of German descent. And he heard these Germans say, "Hey, if I heard these guys right, when it gets to be a little lighter out, about 6:37 in the morning, we're going to take them to the apple orchard and get rid of them there." So our guy that understood German said, "I heard these guys talking, and we don't have that much time to live if we stay here. So when I holler go, we all run in different directions. So if there's 9 of us and 7 of them, they couldn't follow us or chase us. So somebody had to get away. Well, myself and Lieutenant Sykes got away. The other 7 of our 9 got killed. And the
Oh
first
my
guy that
God.
got killed was the guy that was of German descent. But anyhow, that was the story of the Battle of the Bulge, being captured in that area. The hardest part was to identify ourselves, myself and Lieutenant Sykes, we had a hell of a time identifying who we were. They thought we were Germans in American uniforms. A lot of the German soldiers were using American uniforms to get behind the lines. You know, you see a guy in an American uniform, you don't stop him. But they got behind the lines, they did a lot of damage until we realized what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a hell of a time identifying ourselves to the armor, which was the Allied Army that was in front of us, identify who we were. And some of the questions they were asked, like, who are the Newark Yankees? Well, you know, if you're an American, who's the Yankees? Who was the 16th president of the United States? Well, Lincoln, you know. So they asked little stupid questions, but they weren't stupid. They were wanting to know if we knew enough of the German, they wanted to know if we were identified or knew some of the American events, you know, and people. And then, you know, they took us, then they finally realized that our dog tags were there, and they realized that we were Americans, and they brought us back into our group, which was the 1st Division.
So then when you came home, like and the war was over, how did you feel about, you know, what was the kind of the feeling in the
I
country?
felt like I wanted to commit suicide, that's what it was. Well, you know, it was a hell of a war we went through, 2.5 years of hell. And that's only some of the highlights I gave you, you know, I got a list a mile long that, well, in 2.5 years, if you look at this jacket, every one of these medals, if you look close on these ribbons, there's little stars in there. Now, you see a lot of guys with big chests full of ribbons, you know? But if they don't have those little stars, they didn't see no combat.
Oh,
The little
okay.
stars represents a battle.
right.
But when you see these guys with a big chest full of ribbons, unless they got stars, they didn't see combat
Right.
as I did.
Right.
So what I was hoping to talk to the group today was to tell them about some of the details of the war that they will never read about in the paper,
No.
you know, and see pictures of it. I got 4 poster boards, 2x2 poster boards of different war pictures that I had made while I was there. I picked up an old camera that was in one of the villages, and I took pictures, and I sent the camera to my mom, and I didn't know what she was doing with it, but she did get them developed, and I got some pictures.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's another part of the story I was hoping to tell the group today, but I didn't get a chance to talk to the group. There was only about 4 or 5 people, and they said, "Tom, come in 2 weeks when the group of the American Legion vets and the other groups would be a bigger group between 25 and 35." Well, that's different. You know.
Yeah.
The last group I talked to was 282 people
Wow.
at the Windsor Assisted Living Home in Carroll Springs.
Nice.
You know, people ask me, now, how many people did you kill? Well, I mean, that's a kind of a hard question to answer. And, because I was carrying my .45 and then I had my rifle. And I said, well, I didn't kill anybody directly, and if I did, I wasn't gonna tell them anyhow.
Right.
He said, but the Allied bombing did most of the killing. You know, most of the bombing was the groups of Allies that were killing a lot of the Germans. And they killed a lot of our Americans too. They missed the, you know, they're bombing so close to between our line and their line. Consequently, some of our people got killed too. But you don't read about that in the paper.
Yeah. I guess that's just part of the deal.
So that was kind of rough. But we did go through a lot of the towns in Germany, and we saw a lot of the Quonset huts. You know what a Quonset hut is? They're dome-shaped Quonset huts, and there's furnaces in there. And the prisoners of war were put on tracks that go into the furnaces, and they burn them alive.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. And we saw so many people being burned.
Yeah, that's horrific.
And the Army insisted that we got the people in those towns, like Buchenwald and Leipzig and some of the other places. They insisted that we go to the town and drag all these people out of the town and bring them to the suburb where all these killings were and furnaces were being burned. You could smell the stench from miles away, you know. So we had to force these people to come and see. We had to force these people to come and see what was going on in their village. They, till today, they never believed it. They thought that the Allies had set this thing up. But that's not true.
Yeah.
So that was, that's one incident. There were so many other incidents, you know.
Yeah.
We went from town to town. We had to dig out all the GI, American, German GIs. We had to dig them out of their cabinets, in their closets, in their kitchen. You know, they just had to get them out of there
Right.
because they wouldn't come out unless they were sure that the Allies really had liberated the town
Right.
of France, of Belgium, of Germany. So we went through 2.5 years of that kind of war.
Wow. It's amazing.
Now, one of the things that, on a little more pleasant note, we didn't have a hot meal in months. We used to use K rations and C rations. It was around a couple of weeks before Christmas time when we were told we were on the line. When I mean line, there's no line you draw. You know, you're in there, the battle's going on. Some push you, some pull away from you. But anyhow, the word got out that we were gonna have a nice hot steak dinner for Christmas. Oh boy, we got all excited. So every couple hours, they take about 8 or 10 of us off the line and bring in 10 to replace us, and then we have a steak dinner. After we got through all eating for a couple of days, we found out where was the steak from. It was delicious, it's kind of sweet, and a little springy, but stringy. Said, well, that was a horse that they got out of the farm from Germany. So we had horse meat.
Oh my gosh.
And,
Well, you didn't know it at the time, so.
well, at the time it was delicious,
Yeah.
but that was one of the incidents. And then there were some others. We killed a lot of Germans, killed a lot of Allies too. During the Omaha Beach, June 6th, 1944, we lost about 23,000 GIs.
Wow.
The only reason I'm here today, myself and Lieutenant Sykes, two of us out of the squad that came off of the LCI. You know what the LCI is? LCI is a common abbreviation for Landing Craft Infantry. Did you see Saving Private Ryan movie? Well, do you see that craft? When that ramp comes down in the front, that's when you get out of there. Come hell or high water, you get out of there,
Right.
and you jump in the water. Now the, boy, I'm trying to remember all this. The sad part of that getting out of the LCIs was the guys would jump out of the LCIs, landing craft infantry, and we jump into the water on the beach, and you go toward the shore. Well, right above were cliffs, and they were shooting down at us, and they're knocking us off like flies. So we lost about 23,000 GIs in our group there. The only reason I'm here today, thank God, the only reason I'm here today is that myself and Lieutenant Sykes, we pushed all the bodies together on the water, and we hid underneath them. and that's why I'm here today.
Wow.
So that's, there's more to it than that, but you know, when you see arms and legs floating on the water, I'll tell you, boy, my pants run up and down, as you could understand. You just don't have no control over your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those are some incredible stories.
Yeah.
Really
And,
appreciate it.
you know, these, I mean, you caught me off guard today, but
No, those were all great. Those
these
were
these
fantastic.
stories are, they go on and on. There's, you know, we're talking about 2.5 years of war.
Yeah.
So when you see these guys walk around with these chests full of ribbons, I said, boy, that's great. I look at them and there's no stars
Yeah,
there.
you know the drill.
So they're World War One. I mean, First Army Division. And this is a star. This is a silver star. There's a little silver diamond in there. And that was given to us by General Eisenhower's aide. There aren't too many people that have a silver star, let me tell you. Aren't too many people that have these